The day I buried my father, my Uncle Robert and my cousins stole our family company. While I was watching them lower my dad's casket into the ground, they were changing the locks on my office door. But they made one crucial mistake. They forgot who actually owned the technology that made our company worth millions. I'm Olivia Carter, and this is how I taught my family the true cost of betrayal. Thomson Technologies had been my father's life's work. He built it from nothing, turning his brilliant ideas into a tech empire worth over $100 million. I grew up in his lab, learning to code before I could drive, understanding circuit boards better than boys. By the time I was 18, I had my first patent. By 25, I was the company's chief innovation officer, working alongside my father to develop the next generation of semiconductor technology. My Uncle Robert, Dad's younger brother, had always resented our success. He was the business guy, handling sales and marketing, while Dad and I created the innovations that actually kept the company profitable. My cousins, James and Daniel, followed in their father's footsteps, all swagger and sales pitch, no substance. "You spend too much time in the lab, Liv," James would say, rolling his eyes at my technical presentations. "The company needs more market focus, not more patents." What they never understood was that those patents were the company's real value. Every major product line, every technological breakthrough, had my name on it alongside my father's. The last conversation I had with Dad was about our newest innovation, a revolutionary chip design that would make our competitors' products obsolete. "Make sure the patents are ironclad," he'd said from his hospital bed. "Robert's been asking too many questions about the new design." I assured him everything was secure, not knowing those would be his last words to me. He passed away that night, leaving me alone to face what came next. The funeral was a blur of black suits and empty condolences. Uncle Robert put on a good show of grief, placing his hand on my shoulder as they lowered the casket. "Don't worry about anything, Olivia," he said, his voice thick with fake sympathy. "The company's in good hands." I should have known then what he meant. When I arrived at the office the next morning, my key card didn't work. The security guard, someone new I didn't recognize, informed me I was no longer authorized to enter the building. "Orders from the new CEO," he said, not quite meeting my eyes. I called Uncle Robert immediately. "Ah, Olivia," he answered, his voice now crisp and businesslike. "I was just about to call you. There have been some changes in leadership structure. The board met last night and voted to restructure the executive team." "The board?" I demanded. "What board meeting?" "Emergency session," he replied smoothly. "Given the circumstances, we felt immediate action was necessary. The company needs strong, business-focused leadership now. You understand." I understood perfectly. They'd waited until my father was literally in the ground before making their move. "My shares," I started, "are non-voting," he cut in. "Your father's shares transferred to me as per the company bylaws. As CEO, I need to think about the company's future. And frankly, Olivia, you're not ready for this level of responsibility." I hung up and called our family lawyer, Benjamin Walsh. He confirmed my worst fears. They'd done everything legally. Dad's shares had indeed transferred to Robert under a clause in the original company formation documents. My own shares, while valuable, didn't give me voting rights. "They've locked me out completely," I told Ben. "They even changed the security codes to the lab." "What about the new chip design?" he asked. "The one your father mentioned?" I smiled for the first time since Dad's death. "The patents are in my name. Dad insisted on it after the last time Uncle Robert tried to push him out." Ben was quiet for a moment. "They'll try to claim corporate ownership." "They can try," I replied. "But I filed them personally, not through the company. And I have the documentation to prove it. What do you want to do?" I thought about all the times Uncle Robert had dismissed my contributions, how my cousins had treated me like some kind of tech mascot rather than the innovator I was. Let them dig their own grave, I decided. They'll try to launch the new product line. When they do, they'll be in for quite a surprise, Ben finished. The next few months were hard. I watched from the outside as Robert and my cousins paraded around as the new faces of Thomson Technologies. They gave interviews about taking the company in a new direction and moving beyond old leadership styles. The tech media ate it up. Thomson Technologies enters new era, read one headline. Next generation takes helm at tech giant, proclaimed another. Meanwhile, I set up a small lab in my home and kept working. The chip design my father and I had created was just the beginning. I knew where the technology was heading, and I kept pushing it forward. Robert's first mistake was underestimating me. His second was assuming that locking me out of the building meant locking me out of the industry. I still had connections, suppliers, researchers, former colleagues who knew my work. Word got around that I was developing something new. Investment offers started coming in. 6 months after the lockout, Robert announced Thomson Technologies' biggest product launch ever, the quantum processing chip my father and I had designed. The press conference was grand, held at the city's most expensive hotel. I watched the live stream as Robert took the stage, flanked by James and Daniel. Today, Thomson Technologies enters the future, he declared. Our new quantum processing chip represents a revolutionary leap forward in computing technology. The presentation was slick, full of buzzwords and promises. The assembled tech journalists nodded appreciatively as James and Daniel demonstrated prototype devices powered by their new chip. That's when I made my move. The doors at the back of the conference room opened, and Ben walked in, accompanied by federal marshals. Mr. Thompson, one of the marshals called out, "We have a cease and desist order regarding your product demonstration." Robert's face went pale. "What is this?" "Patent infringement," Ben announced clearly, his voice carrying to every corner of the now silent room. "The technology you're attempting to demonstrate is protected by patents owned personally by Olivia Carter." "That's ridiculous," James sputtered. "The company owns all patents related to our products." "Actually," I said, walking into the room, "it doesn't. Every patent related to this technology is in my name. Check the filings yourself." The journalists' cameras swiveled to capture the drama unfolding before them. Robert tried to maintain his composure, but I could see the panic in his eyes. "This is a family matter," he said tightly. "We can discuss this privately." "Like you discussed the company takeover privately?" I countered. While I was at my father's funeral, the room erupted in whispers. Several journalists were already typing frantically on their phones. "The patents were developed while you were an employee," Daniel argued. "They belong to the company." I pulled out a folder and handed copies to the nearest reporters. "These documents show that all relevant patents were filed personally, with my own funding, outside of company time. My father made sure of that. He always said we needed insurance against family problems." Robert's face turned from pale to red. "You'll destroy the company." "No, Uncle Robert. You did that when you betrayed your own niece at her father's funeral." I turned to address the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, I have an announcement of my own. Today, I'm launching Carter Innovations, a new company focused on next-generation quantum computing technology. Our first products will hit the market in 3 months." The reporters exploded with questions. Through the chaos, I locked eyes with Robert. "The patents you tried to steal? They're already obsolete. While you were playing corporate politics, I was developing the next generation of the technology. Carter Innovations holds those patents too." The aftermath was spectacular. Thomson Technologies' stock plummeted as news of the patent issue spread. Major customers put their orders on hold, waiting to see how the legal battle would play out. But there was no battle. The patents were ironclad, and Robert knew it. Within a week, he was forced to call an emergency board meeting. I attended this one, accompanied by my lawyers and several major investors who'd backed my new company. "We're prepared to offer a licensing deal," I announced to the stunned board. "Carter Innovations will license the patent rights to Thomson Technologies, under certain conditions." "What conditions?" Robert asked, his voice hoarse. "First, you, James, and Daniel resign immediately. Second, the company returns my father's voting shares to me. Third, Thomson Technologies becomes a subsidiary of Carter Innovations." "You can't do this," James protested. "The company's been in our family for generations." "1 generation," I corrected him. "My father's generation. And now it's my turn to lead it the right way." The board voted overwhelmingly in favor of my proposal. They really had no choice. Without access to the patented technology, Thomson Technologies was worthless. Robert, James, and Daniel were escorted out of the building that afternoon. I watched from my father's old office, my office now, as they carried their boxes to their cars. "Dad would be proud," I whispered to the empty room. The transition wasn't easy, but it was necessary. I merged Thomson Technologies' resources with Carter Innovations' cutting-edge research, creating something even better than before. The employees who'd been loyal to my father welcomed me back with open arms. Many had hated working under Robert's leadership, but had felt powerless to oppose him. Within a year, our combined company was worth 3 times what Thomson Technologies had been at its peak. The quantum processing technology revolutionized the industry, just as my father and I had envisioned. Robert tried to start a competing company, but without the patents or the innovation skills, he failed quickly. Last I heard, he and my cousins were trying to sell business consulting services to tech startups. Apparently, no one's buying. Sometimes I think about that day at the funeral, when they thought they'd won. They were so focused on grabbing power that they forgot what really made our company valuable. The innovation, the creativity, the vision that my father had passed on to me. The old Thompson Technologies sign still hangs in the lobby, below the larger Carter Innovations logo. I keep it there as a reminder, not of the betrayal, but of my father's legacy. He taught me that true innovation can't be stolen or locked away. It lives in the mind and spirit of the innovator. Last month, I launched a scholarship program in my father's name, funding young inventors and researchers who share our passion for pushing technology forward. The first recipient was a brilliant young woman whose family had discouraged her from pursuing a technical career. They say business is about relationships, I told her at the award ceremony. But the most important relationship is with your own creativity and integrity. Never let anyone lock that away. She smiled, reminding me of myself at that age, full of ideas and determination. In her, I see the future my father and I dreamed of, a future built on innovation, not manipulation. Epilogue. Carter Innovations continues to lead the industry in quantum computing technology. Our latest breakthrough, a quantum neural network processor, is poised to revolutionize artificial intelligence applications. The company culture has changed too. No more family politics or power plays. I instituted a policy that promotion is based solely on innovation and merit, not relationships or titles. Robert occasionally sends messages through intermediaries, asking to reconcile. James and Daniel have tried to pitch me their consulting services multiple times. I have my assistant send them the same response, a copy of the original patent filings with a post-it note reading, "Ideas matter more than locks." The lab where I spent so much time with my father is now a state-of-the-art research facility, open to any employee with a promising idea. On its wall hangs my father's favorite quote, "Innovation is the only inheritance that matters." Looking back, I realized that Robert and my cousins did me a favor. By trying to lock me out, they forced me to build something better, something truly mine. They thought they were stealing a company, but they forgot that a company is more than buildings and bank accounts. It's the ideas, the innovation, and the integrity of the people who build it. Dad understood that. It's why he made sure I held the patents in my name. He knew that true power doesn't come from titles or boardroom votes. It comes from creating something valuable, something that makes the world better. That's the real legacy I'm building now, patent by patent, innovation by innovation. And no one can lock me out of that. As for the old office with its changed locks, I had them removed. The doors at Carter Innovations don't have locks anymore. We use biometric security instead, cutting-edge technology that I developed myself. After all, in this family, innovation always has the last word. Thanks for watching. See you again in the next video. Stay stunned.